Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife is the story of Phoebe, Trevor, and their mom, Callie. Callie inherits her estranged father's house in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma. And considering her and her kids are being evicted from their apartment, they've got nowhere else to go but this house in the middle of nowhere. And upon initial impressions from the house and the rest of the town, it sounds like her estranged dad was pretty crazy. However, Phoebe and Trevor discover there's more to their house and their grandfather than they could ever imagine. And we have our movie. I trended on the side of being vague in my synopsis because the movie takes a while to build, and if I give you too much in that synopsis, it's going to give you too much in the movie, so take that for what it's worth. And with that, I enjoyed this movie and I thought it was a pretty good time. I think it's got a lot going for it between the legacy of the Ghostbusters, the excellent casting that was done between Finn Wolfhard, Paul Rudd, McKenna Grace, and a few even other side characters. The chemistry that Paul Rudd does to glue every character in this movie is just fantastic, and it really makes him indispensable. And McKenna Grace actually ends up really being the lead for the film, and she does a great job in doing so, and I was really surprised by that. Both of them just elevate this movie quite a lot, and it makes it really enjoyable. However, the movie does a lot of meandering and does take a while to get to the point. If you're debating on watching the original Ghostbusters before seeing this movie, I would say it wouldn't hurt, but it's not a necessity. I think there are some callbacks and some Easter eggs in Ghostbusters Afterlife that I would have appreciated more if I had seen the original Ghostbusters, but I was able to follow along Ghostbusters Afterlife with no problem despite never having seen the original. So starting off with the pros, there's awesome character exposition in this movie. Every character and actor works really well together, and it's all geared toward the journey of self-discovery for each of our main protagonists. Phoebe and Trevor are just two young kids who move to the middle of nowhere and have to have a fresh start in their young lives, and not sure what to do with it. Their mom Callie's in the same boat, who knows nothing about her father other than the fact that she inherited a house from him and has memories of him not being there throughout her life. Between the new house and the setting of the middle of nowhere, it gives these characters nothing to do but really walk around and just discover things, and mainly figure out who their grandfather was. And in that journey, they end up finding something unique about themselves through their grandfather that sparks their interest and helps them achieve things they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And by the end of the movie, those achievements help shape who they are, which can be really rewarding and have some excellent payoff. And along the way, the chemistry between the actors was excellent. Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon were a lot of fun to watch together as Paul Rudd's character was trying to woo Carrie Coon's character. Their banter was just really funny, really witty, and it made my time with them on screen a lot of fun to watch. Paul Rudd and McKenna Grace have a very unique mentor-student relationship. Paul Rudd's character is just a teacher who's trying to mold McKenna Grace's young, brilliant scientific mind. It was engaging because Paul Rudd actually gave off that passion that he loved for teaching and helping others learn. I could go on forever about it, but the point is, everything in this movie felt natural, and it really felt like it clicked together in a way that made it pleasant to watch. And speaking of casting characters, Paul Rudd was an excellent supplement to this movie. Paul Rudd is not the main character in this movie, but he is just a side character that has probably a larger role than a side character normally would. And Paul Rudd is obviously a great actor, and he does everything right in the right moments in this movie. He is sweet, genuine, and endearing when he's trying to woo Callie. He's patient, enthusiastic, and passionate when he's trying to teach Phoebe. He is the most likable character and blends everything together in this movie, and ultimately he was indispensable because this movie would have been lost without him. Last couple things I'll say, the driving sequences in this movie are fantastic. There are a few moments in this movie where we see some chase sequences with vehicles, and I didn't expect to like them so much, but the movie did them so well that I couldn't help but actually really look forward to them. The stakes behind why they're doing these chase sequences are elevated, so it makes sense that the driving sequences would also have to be really intense. And the movie lands that perfectly. You've got the cars doing really sharp turns, going really fast, and the way they just did it all was executed perfectly. And when you combine that with the brilliant sound engineering that this movie had, the effects that they had the cars do, the effects of the gadgets that they use, when you combine all of that together, it really elevates the movie. And when you've got sound that elevates your movie, that's mad props. Now transitioning into what I didn't like so much about this movie, there was not enough Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was one of the best parts of this movie, and I think he should have had a larger role within it. There wasn't a single moment where I didn't like him on screen, and when a movie doesn't quite fully hone its strength as much as it should, it's kind of a shame. And I think them not including Paul Rudd more was a bit of a disservice. Like I said, he's not a main character, he's more of a elevated side character. And if he was more of a main character, I think this movie would have been better benefited for it. However, having said that, given I don't have the original script, I don't know how realistic that could be. I'm just saying I think the movie would have been better if they had more Paul Rudd within it, because the guy was excellent all movie long. Also, there are way too many meandering and boring scenes. The movie's overarching objective isn't really made abundantly clear until you're about 2/3 2/3 of the way through the movie. And really in those first 2/3, it's really all about Trevor and Phoebe finding themselves throughout this town and in this house. And given that that kind of character exposition typically happens really slowly, and it's really the only thing going on in the first 2/3, you'll likely get a lot of boring and meandering going on and happening. Because character exposition and character growth does not happen very quickly. And I love good character exposition, but the reality is when that's all you get and it happens really slowly, it gets pretty boring. I would have preferred something where the overarching objective would have been made clear earlier on, and then you slowly drip in some bits of character growth and character exposition throughout the movie. It flows a little bit more naturally that way, but since we only get character exposition earlier on, the movie just meanders, gets really slow, gets really boring, and I found myself having the runtime feel like 3 hours rather than 2, and that's just not good. So my friends, overall, I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10. It was a good movie, and I recommend seeing it. Friends, have you seen Ghostbusters Afterlife? If so, what'd you think of it? You know where the comment section is. Let me know. Friends, thanks so much for watching another Bankrupt Hippo movie review. If you like this, click right here if you'd like to see more. I've been Bryce, and until next time, have a great day.